70-year-old Douglas Badger was one of the first to be classified as a sexually violent predator after a history of sexual sadism and assault of young men and one 16-year-old girl dating back to 1974. He served 10 years in prison. Soon after his release in 1991, he reoffended and was again convicted of sexual assault. On Friday, a Superior Court judge will discuss options to find Badger appropriate housing in San Diego County. Here with a closer look at the process is John Rice, San Diego Deputy District Attorney with the Sex Crimes Division. John, welcome.
Good evening, Peggy.
After Badger's prison sentence, the court determined he should be kept in custody as a sexually violent predator. How come? What's the criteria for that?
About 6 months before someone is scheduled to be released after committing a sexually violent offense, they're evaluated, and the evaluation is based on: 1, do they have the qualifying prior? 2, do they have a diagnosed mental disorder? 3, as a result of that mental disorder, are they likely to reoffend and commit a new offense? And then the 4th criteria is whether or not they could be safely treated in the community or required to be housed at a secure facility such as Coalinga State Hospital.
Well, back in 2006, I know Badger was allowed to live in a trailer on the outskirts of the Donovan State Prison in Otay Mesa. He was there for a little bit more than a year, and I believe since then has been in a mental state in a state hospital.
Yes, he was released for about a year in 2006. He decompensated due to some adjustments to his medication, and he returned to the hospital and has been there ever since.
Is there a standard of practice that you sort of do for sexually violent criminals as far as treatment in hospital confinement?
Coalinga State Hospital has gone through several different treatment programs. They have had cognitive behavioral treatment, they've had phase treatment, and they're now doing a Good Lives model treatment, which is basically trying to look at the positive things in a offender's life and focus on those in order to make sure that they have a stable living condition, and that way they won't reoffend.
On Friday, there's a hearing to look at Badger's housing options. So it's been determined he should go back into the community. What will be factored into deciding where he goes?
Well, a recommendation is made by Liberty Healthcare to the Department of State Hospitals as to a residence where he could reside. Usually they're more rural areas of the county, and they look at the different things within that community that might be a risk for that particular offender. Once the recommendation is made, there'll be about a 2-week period of public comment in which people can contact the SAFE team, which is part of the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, and give their input as to whether or not they think he should be released in that area.
If no suitable place is found, he's still released though, right?
You know, that's something that has happened in other communities, other counties. It hasn't happened here in San Diego. In other counties where they could not find a place and there was public opposition, they actually released them transient with a GPS locator on their ankle. That makes it very difficult to supervise a sexually violent predator. That way you can't control their curfew and know where they're going to be.
Does the DA have a say in this whole housing situation?
We do have a say. We are permitted to make a comment just like the public is, and usually the DA does make a recommendation as to where she thinks the person should be housed. But the decision has already been made for release, and we're just like anyone else. We can provide input, but the decision will be made by the court.
How will he be supervised if and when he's released?
When they're out in the community, they are on GPS monitor. They have to have weekly therapy, both private therapy and group therapy. They have to have polygraph examinations on a frequent basis, and the GPS allows us to have them be on curfew and be in their residence usually from 10 till 6 the next morning.
What happens if he violates these terms of this conditional release?
If the Liberty Healthcare believes it's a significant enough violation, or the DA's office believes it's a significant enough violation, we can file a petition to have him recommitted.
And we have to end on this one, but are you aware of other cases where formerly sexually violent predators have successfully reintegrated into society?
We actually had one just recently here in San Diego County. I don't know that I'd use the successfully reintegrated term, but we had one that was released off of outpatient therapy and found to no longer be a sexually violent predator. He still has to report his address and where he's living as part of the sex offender registration law, but other than that, he's free to come and go as he pleases.
All right, John Rice, Deputy District Attorney, thanks so much for the update.
Thank you.